So, welcome to the first edition of The Chat. The Chat stands for Council, Humewood Administration and Teachers. So, what we'll be doing on The Chat is tackle frequently asked questions and concerns that parents may have about school life. I'm Robin Rutherford, your co-chair, and this is my fabulous co-chair, Pauline Peachman. Hi. And we have on our panel today, Madame Kamba, our expert teacher, and we have our vice principal, Miss Sandler. Hello. Also fabulous, and fabulous once more, Miss Whitfield, the principal of Humewood Community School. So on our first segment, we are looking at preparing your child for the winter weather. So even when it's cold outside, students from kindergarten to grade 8 will go outside every day for recess and part of the lunch hour. Outdoor physical activity is healthy at all temperatures.
Now, I know sometimes last year my child got to stay in for certain recesses during the winter. Does that happen sometimes?
Mm-hmm. So minus 20 is generally the guideline that we use in extreme weather conditions. So if the wind chill or the actual temperature is minus 20, the students do stay inside. Sometimes if it's close, if we're looking at minus 17, minus 18, and there is a wind, we do shorten the recess down to 10 minutes, but we really do believe that the students benefit from outdoor play at all temperatures.
So with regards to recess, you keep your children in during, if it was minus 20, so what sort of activities would you have your students be doing during a recess?
Well, that's a great question. That really depends on the classroom teacher, but our classrooms are chock full of great resources that the kids can use at any time, a lot with the discretion of the teacher. So in my classroom, I say that the kids can read books, they can play with some numeracy centers that I have set up, they can play with blocks, they can work at our word work center, just quiet games that they can play, by themselves or in small groups. They'll also always be able to eat their snack at their desks, because we want to make sure that everybody's bellies are full, teachers included. We may have snack drawers, some of us. No big deal, don't worry about it. So yeah, it's going to depend on the classroom teacher, but there's definitely stuff in the classroom that the kids will be able to do.
Fabulous. And so with recess being covered, what about lunch hour? Because if the students are staying in during the lunch hour, I know the SKs and the JKs will stay in their rooms, but what about the older children? What happens during the lunch hour if they're staying in during that time?
So the younger students, the grade 1 to 4, will eat lunch in the gym and have a movie shown in the gym as well. Actually, grade 4s are a little bit on the edge, so they have the option of either staying and watching a movie or going to the lunchroom and doing an activity there. The grades 5 to 8 stay in the lunchroom, they eat their lunch there, and then they can do some quiet activities, play cards. The grade 7s and 8s can play games on their digital devices. They might bring board games down, or they might draw, they might do some art. But I will tell you, after a few days of that, everybody is ready to go outside, teachers included.
So now Pauline and I both have students in grade 1, and with that they're not always as coordinated enough to get all of their items on.
And then they have to keep track of everything that they're bringing. They've got gloves, hats, everything. Like what are some tips on that? Do you have any?
Well, absolutely. Being a grade 1-2 teacher, I definitely have seen the gamut of, winter clothing related issues. And there can be so many because it is such a big step. It's the first time that students are really doing that in that way. But it's such a crucial part of developing their learning skills and work habits related to responsibility, organization, self-regulation, making sure they are able to get themselves ready and know what it means to be ready to go out. So for that, I would suggest making a list at home of your child's winter ensemble. What are the pieces of it? You can take pictures of it, have the kid draw pictures of it, practice reading the words, writing the words in French and English, depending on, your child's program of study. And that's just a great way for them to, from the get-go, know what they need to put on. Right. The first thing I would say, though, is absolutely label everything in several places and in permanent marker so that your child will know exactly which aspect of the classroom is theirs, which of the clothing is theirs that they can put on, that they know which order to put it on in, something you can practice at home. Right. can't tell you how many times we've had the last minute, you know, where does my hat go on first, and then I have to put my coat on, my sweater, you know.
Right.
It can be challenging. So practicing order with them is
And
like,
even if we do get them all ready and we're prepared and they're good, it's inevitable that they're going to come home without something. What happens, or where do we look for missing items? Is there some place in the school that we can do that?
Certainly, we have a lost and found that's at the back table by the back doors, and parents are always welcome to come and check that. We often encourage our students, when they see that something's gone missing, to go with a friend down to the lost and found and try and find things themselves. Sometimes we'll ask them to retrace their steps, and maybe something was left in the lunchroom or it's in their class in the halls. So our primary objective is, first of all, to ensure that our students are warm, and second of all, to ensure that we're helping them develop skills for independence.
And which also leads us, you had mentioned something very important, you mentioned labels. On our Humewood Council website, we will have a link to a company that we are associated with, I believe it's Lovable Labels. And you will be able to purchase your labels through this company, and part of the proceeds will come back to the school, so it's a bit of a fundraiser as well.
I feel like we've got a pretty good jump on getting ready for winter. Do you have any extra tips that you could share just from your experience?
yeah, definitely. I think, you know, we've talked a lot about the prevention aspect and what to do to make sure that your kid is set up for winter, but you know, they're children and humans, and there's gonna be some snow related issues. So I think really making sure that you pack an extra pair of socks and a plastic bag in your student's backpack, because if, you know, snow were to get into their boots, that way they don't have to panic. They know that there's a spare pair of socks, you know, they can change and put their wet socks in the plastic bag. They don't have to worry about everything in their bag getting gross. They can just kind of put that away and put it neatly. Also, an extra pair of gloves might be helpful if your child especially is using fabric gloves. That's a great thing to pack. It doesn't take much space. And then again, having that plastic bag as well to keep the dry things dry and the wet things wet.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us
Welcome.
and being our expert panelist.
Glad to help.
Well, it's a great topic. What we're looking forward to doing is we're looking forward to doing more of these chats with you. And we go based on frequently asked questions by parents. So if you do have any questions or concerns that you'd like us to address here, by all means, you can either email the administration, or you can email council through the websites. We will post that information for you so you know where to click and go. And we look forward to you joining us next time. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.
So now we go back to tomorrow.